Marifat School presents The Conference of the Plants. Written by Reza Nazemi. Chapter 24. Spaces and the possibilities within them.
Previously on. In the previous chapter, Walnut Tree taught the plants that true love expects nothing in return. He warned that pride and expectation taint kindness, leading to suffering. Turnip, feeling unappreciated, realized that his pride had blocked him from experiencing pure love. In the end, the plants humbly sought the gardener's forgiveness for their hidden expectations. Now, we continue with Chapter 24. Spaces and the possibilities within them.
After his midday nap, Turnip awoke and glanced around. Spotting Walnut sitting alone brought a question to his mind. He approached and asked,
"Walnut, there's something that has been weighing on my mind. May I ask?"
Turnip's loud voice hushed the surrounding plants. Walnut looked at him with warmth and gave a nod of approval. Captured everyone's attention, Turnip asked even louder,
"Is it possible that one day I could transform into an orange tree?"
Before Walnut could respond, Almond exclaimed with astonishment,
"That's impossible. What a strange question to ask."
Walnut smiled and nodded, affirming Almond's statement. Yet, unlike Almond, he did not consider the question pointless. To him, it held the key to unlocking a treasury of divine secrets, revealing hidden wisdom to the plants in the garden. Raising his voice, he addressed his companions.
My dear friends, did you all hear Turnip's intriguing question? He wonders if he could one day transform into an orange tree.
Orange, wearing a puzzled expression and a hint of complaint in his tone, exclaimed,
"Walnut, do you actually find this amusing? The idea of a turnip transforming into me one day is utterly bizarre."
Walnut looked at Orange and responded gently,
It's better not to speak with such harshness or arrogance. There's no such thing as a ridiculous question.
Turnip, persistent, asked again,
Why did I become a turnip and take this form, while orange became a tree and grew so tall? Isn't that unfair?
Cabbage chuckled.
Turnip's lost his mind. I think the heavy storm from a few days ago must have affected his head,
He said with a mockery tone. His eyes briefly met Walnut's serious gaze, prompting him to clear his throat and shift uncomfortably.
Well, this Walnut takes things too seriously sometimes. But I'll admit, Turnip's question is ridiculous.
Walnut responded kindly.
It's not called injustice, Turnip. It's called possibility.
Turnip, sensing the warmth in Walnut's words, glanced proudly at the other plants and asked,
What do you mean by possibility, Walnut? Can I be another possibility too?
Walnut smiled and replied,
Once you were a possibility, but now you are no longer just a possibility. You have manifested. Once something has manifested, it can no longer remain a possibility.
A silence fell over the garden. While the other plants could sense the significance of this message, only Almond, who had similar discussions with Walnut before, truly understood the depth of his words. Turnip, eager for answers, asked,
How can I transform into another possibility, Walnut?
Walnut replied calmly.
As I've said, you are now manifested and can no longer become another possibility. Unless...
Walnut paused thoughtfully and chose not to continue his sentence. After a brief moment, he resumed.
However, know that there are still possibilities within your reach.
Turnip asked eagerly.
So, is it possible for me to transform into another being?
Walnut replied.
No, it is no longer possible for you to become anything other than a turnip. But that doesn't mean there aren't other possibilities for you. You can choose to be a well-mannered turnip or an ill-mannered one, or you could be a bitter or sweet turnip. There are still possibilities within you, turnip.
Turnip asked once more, his voice tinged with pleading and desperation.
Is it truly no longer possible for me to become anything other than a turnip?
The other plants, growing weary of Turnip's persistent questions, muttered among themselves in frustration. A turnip is simply a turnip, and every plant is what it is, nothing more. Even after millions of years, the essence of a being remains unchanged. This turnip must be either deeply confused or as ignorant as he seems. The chatter and murmurs continued until the voice of Walnut Tree cut through the noise, imposing a sudden silence. With a firm tone, Walnut replied,
Yes, turnip, you can indeed transform into something else.
Turnip, filled with disbelief, asked,
Are you telling the truth, Walnut? Is there truly another possibility for me?
Walnut answered with even greater conviction.
Yes, such a possibility does exist.
At that moment, Almond spoke up.
Who is the creator of this possibility, Walnut? Is it the gardener who brings it into being, or does the sun play a part? Could it be that, if the gardener wishes, even a turnip could be transformed into an orange?
Walnut replied,
No, the gardener is not the creator of possibilities. It is the divine spirit of this garden, the keeper of the secret of truth, and the mother of reality. In other words, reality is its child. It is the embodiment of honesty, acting with truth and nurturing the truth within every being.
Excited, the orange exclaimed,
I see now. The sun is the creator of all possibilities. Only the sun can bring these possibilities to life.
Walnut chuckled softly and replied,
Not quite. The sun is the illuminator of possibilities, and it also symbolizes the power of making the right choices within all of the possibilities.
Turnip, still struggling to understand, asked,
Walnut, what do you mean by possibility? I don't quite understand what you're saying.
Walnut responded kindly,
Very well, dear turnip. Let me explain it more simply. Space is the origin of all possibilities in the world. It holds the potential for every phenomenon in existence. Though it may seem empty, it is the very foundation of our world. Within its vastness, space has given rise to two key forces, the sun and the gardener. The sun is the light of creation, illuminating the path to the right choices. Its light is ever present, and to embrace it is to align with truth and clarity. The divine spirit, or the gardener, is like the sun, always present everywhere. He nurtures every possibility after creation, and as the embodiment of truth in this world, he is known as the Father of Truth.
Despite the plant's eager anticipation, They still struggled to grasp the full depth of Walnut's words. Seeing the puzzled expressions on the plants' faces, Walnut realized that understanding this concept might not be easy for these young and inexperienced beings. With a clear voice, Walnut said,
Let me offer a simpler example. If I were to remain silent, what would you hear from me?
Almond replied,
Nothing. In that case, there would only be silence.
Walnut inquired again.
But what if I speak a few words?
Almond answered,
Then we would hear the words you've created within the space.
Walnut continued thoughtfully.
Was there a possibility of hearing any speech from me while I was silent? Did you not consider that I might speak in anger or express words of affection and kindness? Or perhaps, was it not possible for me to speak out of pride?
Almond nodded.
That's right. When you are silent, endless possibilities exist, yet none have taken shape. The moment you speak, one of them comes to life, stepping out of the realm of mere potential. In other words, it has now manifested.
Walnut smiled with satisfaction.
Exactly every word I utter is a possibility made real. But in silence, countless words remain, like seeds, waiting for the moment to sprout into speech. That is why I hold the power to bring a possibility into existence through my words. Within me there is a radiant core, like the sun, illuminating truth and guiding my speech. And my throat, under my will, gives voice to what is meant to be spoken. Does this make sense to you?
The plants responded in unison. Yes, we understand your words now. Walnut continued.
Now you see that space holds all possibilities in the world, granting every being the freedom to experience the ones they choose. That is why we have been given free will to observe, explore, and experiment with different possibilities.
In addition, Walnut added,
Space is composed of 3 layers. The third layer of space is directly connected to me and all the possibilities available to me. It encompasses everything I can create, attempt, or change. My actions, thoughts, and behaviors all emerge from this layer. The second layer of space is the garden in which we live. It is where possibilities come into existence, determining whether we become walnuts, turnips, almonds, or something else. These possibilities have already unfolded within this garden, and we can no longer alter them. The first layer represents the origin of creation. It is a space of pure potential, where nothing exists, not even possibility. This is called primary potentiality. The existence of a being in the second and third layers of space depends entirely on its creation in the primary world and is confined by it. For example, once a turnip exists in the second layer of space, it can no longer transform into a radish or a walnut. It is confined to being a turnip, but its future potential lies in the nature and quality of its existence as a turnip. In the third layer, it can choose to be, for example, a kind-hearted or a selfish turnip. In the first layer of space, there are no limitations. Any possibility can be created, including countless gardens with countless beings. Our garden is just one among many possible creations.
A peaceful silence filled the garden. The plants felt a sense of humility as they realized the magnificence of the world beyond their small garden. They now understood that the grandeur of creation far exceeded their previous perceptions. Turnip said,
So, if I am still in primary space, I can transform into a different being. But in the second and third layers of space, I am confined to my initial creation in primary space. That's why I can no longer become a radish or walnut here.
Walnut nodded in acknowledgement. Almond, filled with joy from a valuable realization, said,
So, space is the mother of creation, and it exists in 3 layers. The existence of space allows us to create within it. Is that correct, Walnut?
Walnut responded contentedly.
Exactly, dear Almond. The first space is divine, the second is the soul's realm, and the third is our earthly space, the garden in which we live.
The plants fell silent once more. The lesson they had received from Walnut was so sweet that no one wanted to spoil its sweetness with unnecessary words.